in a reversal of his months-long opposition to the release of information related to late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump is now encouraging House Republicans to vote yes to release the files related to his case. House GOP leaders are planning to vote tomorrow on legislation that would force the full release of the Justice Department's files on Epstein. In a post last night, the president wrote, quote, House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide, and it's time to move on from this Democratic hoax. He went on to write that the House Oversight Committee can have whatever they are legally entitled to. When asked about the vote last night, the president attacked Republicans who support the release and insisted that the files are being used as a distraction.
A guy like Massey, his poll numbers are showing he's at 6% approval rating right now. And we call him Rand Paul Jr. because he never votes for the Republican Party. So they're using Jeffrey Epstein as a deflection from the tremendous success that we're having as a party.
We have team coverage with CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion on Capitol Hill and CBS News chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez. Nancy, let's start with you. What could be behind this change of heart for President Trump?
I think it could be a couple of things, Lindsay. First of all, he probably sees the writing on the wall that while there were only a handful of House Republicans who signed on to this discharge petition to force a vote on the House floor over releasing these Epstein files, there are more House Republicans now coming forward and saying, hey, as long as it's coming up for a vote, they're going to vote in favor of it, too. And so it was clear that the president's preferred position was not going to win the day. And so this may be just an acknowledgement that if you can't beat them, join them. The challenge for the president will be if this now sparks more interest in the Senate to take a vote to release the Epstein files than was there before, now that they see that, oh, the president himself is on board as well. And then I think the second thing is that there's a growing recognition here at the White House that it's going to be very difficult for them to put this issue to rest, to put it behind them until and unless these Epstein files are released. And so if that's the case, perhaps coming around to accept a release sooner rather than later might be the best option for them.
And the president has also called on the Justice Department and FBI to investigate multiple high-profile Democrats over alleged involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. What do we know about that?
That's right. The president called for that at the end of last week. His attorney general quickly said, yes, will do, Mr. President, and she assigned the U.S. attorney from the Southern District of New York to begin that investigation, despite the fact that her Department of Justice and the FBI announced just a few months ago that there was nothing more to look into, no unindicted co-conspirators in this case, and that the matter was being put to rest. So that has now changed, and what remains to be seen is, A, how far will these investigations go? Will they really start probing former President Bill Clinton's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein? Larry Summers, former president of Harvard, are they going to be looking into his relationship with Epstein? Or are they merely paying lip service to it, knowing that it's something that the president of the United States said publicly that he wants?
President Trump ended that fiery social media post saying he wants Republicans to focus on affordability. What can we expect there?
Well, he is talking about it more. He's going to be talking about it this evening with a group of McDonald's store owners. And there are a couple of policies that he has been pushing in that vein. Number one, he's been talking about wanting to send $2,000 tariff checks to low and middle income Americans. We don't know exactly where that stands. His economic advisors say that they're looking into the options and they're going to present those options to him soon. And then we saw a rollback of tariffs on goods from around the world that aren't made here in the United States or grown here in the United States, or even if they are produced in very small numbers. We're talking about things like bananas and avocados and coffee, where we had seen a big spike in the cost of those goods because Americans need to buy virtually all of them from overseas. And now the Trump administration says they're going to be rolling back some of those tariffs in a bid to get those prices back down.
Nancy, thank you. CBS News congressional correspondent Nikole Killion joins us now on Capitol Hill. So, Nikole, walk us through what the Epstein Files Transparency Act would entail and what we can expect with this vote.
Yeah, well, this is a basic discharge petition, which is really as opposed to a piece of legislation that goes through the normal process of going through a committee before it hits the floor for a vote. In this case, this is kind of a workaround where a vote is more or less forced on the issue. And so basically this act would compel the Justice Department to fully release the Epstein files. So that is what this vote will be on Tuesday, pushing the Justice Department to make these files public. Obviously, the department has already provided many of these documents to Congress since the House Oversight Committee is investigating. But at this point, you have bipartisan lawmakers who want these files in full. And so that's what this legislation would do if it passes.
And President Trump has lashed out, as we heard at Republicans, Thomas Massie, also Marjorie Taylor Greene over this. Several GOP members indicating they will vote for the release. So how does this highlight a split in the Republican Party?
Well, obviously, we've seen a divide for some time now over this issue. And as Nancy pointed out, only a handful of Republicans actually signed on to this discharge petition. But Congressman Massie, who is the Republican co-sponsor of it, has said he believes that 100 House Republicans or more could ultimately vote in favor of this. So really, there has been from the outset bipartisan support for additional transparency around this issue. And also in the Senate, that really is kind of the bigger issue at this stage, because should this measure clear the House, then the question will be, will the Senate take this up or will they try to squash it? They haven't shown a lot of enthusiasm to take it up, although Democrats certainly are likely to push for a vote in the Senate should it clear the House. So it remains to be seen.
All right, Nikole, Killion, thank you.